your angle.
Ah, thank you. Please come in the front. And now you know I don't bite. Yeah. You survived yesterday. So you can all come in the front, otherwise I feel like I'm talking to a set of empty chairs. आइए, आगे आइए. Yeah, please come in front. Now you're doing a bhajan? Yeah? Let's do it at the end. Yeah? Because we should start now. We'll do it at the end. Remind me, okay? And from tomorrow, 10 minutes before itself you start. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritam Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vedanta Dindimah Sattvam Ekam Udghoshayanti Yat Astam Purastat Tat Tejah Dakshinamurti Samyitam. Yeah, before we get into the verse, little more Sangati connections from our talk yesterday. Remember, we discussed the first and the second portion of the Veda and how they have very little, if anything, to do with one another. Correct? We also talked about how the first portion of the Veda can become very addictive. Why? Why is it addictive? Because it's keeping on saying, give me, give me, give me. And that is, one gets into that place of wantingness and wants to fulfill these one desire after another. Not that the desire is wrong, but to be enslaved by the desire is definitely not a happy situation. If you are the master of desire, and the desire becomes a vibhuti, a blessing, but if you are, enslaved by the desire, if the desire is running the show, then one is permanently stuck in the board game called what? Yeah. Samsaro, that is samsara. Some sorrow or the other one is stuck in it. That is the definition of samsara. And who is the samsari? Someone who is subject to some sorrow or the other. Very, very sorry. I am a samsari. Somewhat sorry. This is what it is. And so then the question comes, and then I said, after some preparation, after some questioning, one is ready to move to the second portion of the Veda, which is Vedanta. And we saw what this Vedanta is, and its prayojana is different, the purpose for which it is there is different, its, Vishaya, the topic is different. The topic is to resolve not the desires, but the notion I am a desiring person. And the purpose is this, and the topic is that which is yourself. Because you as the non-desiring person is the topic. You as the non-doer, non-recipient of other people's omissions and commissions, not hurt, not guilty, not subject to sorrow, not subject to fear. That is the topic of the Shastra here, Vedanta Shastra. Prayojana instantly removes samsara. Because it's not, samsara is not an ocean of samsara, it's a notion of samsara. And a notion can be easily dismissed. And so then we saw prayojana, vishaya, adhikari. Who is the adhikari for the first one? The adhikari is the one who is, mired in the desires. And in the second one, adhikari is the one who is ready to look at one's life objectively. This is the adhikari. And the sambandha is that it reveals the truth of yourself as not subject to this samsara at all. So the textbook becomes an aid to self-knowledge. We saw that. Then the question can arise, why not, so the first book of the Veda, the first portion of the Veda is useless. Why should I bother with the first portion of the Veda? Kimartham? Can't I just go straight to the second portion of the Veda? This question arises. Why not? Well, then, it's like the story of the 7 Vadas. You know the story of the 7 Vadas? No? OMG. You have to know the story of the 7 Vadas. One fellow went. He was from Kerala. This is some, 70 stories set in India. He went to some place. From Kerala, he must have gone either to Maharashtra or somewhere. He didn't speak the language. And he went to a diner. Dhaba, we call it dhaba. Some kind of an eating place. And there is no choice. India is wonderful. It's all about choicelessness. You go there at lunchtime and what is there is lunch. You go there at breakfast time and they'll say idli and vada. That's all it is. You cannot say I'll have idli but not the vada. Just give me chutney because I'm on a no grain diet. Ye sab nahi chalega. You have to eat what is given. It's exactly what is called a thali culture. Lunch is what is for lunch. And then it's a choiceless choice of some amalgam of things in little cups, and then you just eat it and come out. And so he couldn't read the menu for whatever it was worth because it was in a different language. And so he asked, will this place, fill my hunger? And they said, what kind of a question is that? Of course, this is a restaurant. Come sit down, shut up and sit down. Because you see, all these, these out-of-town people, they talked, the people in the diner talked about him. All these out-of-town people are weird. Sit down. No, but will this feed my hunger? And he came at an odd time. It was neither lunch nor dinner. And all that was available was vadas. It was already made. It was heated up. So they said, all we have is vadas. Well, will the vada, whatever you call this vada, will it fill my hunger? Will it satisfy my hunger? They said, of course. What a question. Just sit down, keep quiet, eat. He ordered 1 vada. Had that. Then he said, 1 more. He made a sign language. 1 more. 2 vadas. 3 vadas. 4 vadas. 5 vadas. 6 vadas. 7 vadas and 2 liters of sambar. Sloshing around in his tummy by this time. Because vada doesn't come on its own. It's a dunked vada. Yes. And then what happened? Then he said, gave some happy burps and then got up and then you have to pay at the cashier. This is not like your table service. You know, this is a diner. So you just go on your way out and pay. And he paid 4 rupees, which was the price of 1 vada. And he said, I'm out of here. But you know, these people who have dhabas, they are experienced with, you know, they keep 2 kind of strong looking men on either side of the cashier just for this purpose alone. For this purpose alone they keep these 2 fellows. He was immediately caught and then he was told in no uncertain terms to pay up the rest of the 6 vadas money. And he had a very interesting argument. He said, look, when I came, I first of all told you, what did I say? I asked you, point blank, are these vadas going to fill my stomach? Am I going to be satisfied? Is my hunger going to be satisfied? And you said yes. He said, I don't know where you're headed. He said, just hear me out. So I ordered 1 vada because that's all you had. And then what happened? I was still hungry. That first vada was useless, cancelled. Then the second vada also didn't fill me up. The third vada didn't fill me up. Fourth vada didn't fill me up. Fifth vada didn't fill me up. Sixth vada did not fill me up. The 7th vada filled my hunger. And I'm only going to pay for that one. Oh. This is how the first portion of the Veda is. It is the first 6 vadas. 1 vada, KG, kindergarten. 2nd vada, what? High school. 3rd vada, college or some kind of an occupational degree. You know. 4th vada, important vada, marriage. 5th vada, job. You know. 6th vada, children. You know. All these bada things in the form of vadas. Vadas. And then what? Then finally, after the children become teenagers, almost everyone is ready for Vedanta. Then you go into the 2nd book of Veda, the last chapter, and that's where the ultimate fulfillment lies. So my question to you is this: are the first 6 vadas a write-off? Huh? Yes? No?
Yes.
No? Yes? It's a write-off? Useless? No. This is what it is. So the first portion of the Veda takes you where you are, takes the person, because who is the, you can't blame the first portion of the Veda. We can't get all Vedantin and look down upon the first portion of the Veda because it's doing a service. Who is it approaching? It's approaching the person who is confused. That's why I'm confused. Anyan confusayati. Confuses others also. And then what? Confused, not knowing what they want, wanting everything that they see and they don't see, including unknown things like heaven, desiring so many things. Yeah, who has heard of heaven? But everybody wants it. I don't understand why. Because it's based on so many assumptions. First of all, that I survive this body which drops at death, big assumption. Non-verifiable belief. Nobody knows. Second is that I have enough punya to go there. Second, non-verifiable belief. And then having gone there, it is a pleasant place. Non-verifiable belief. And that having gone there, I will like it. Another non-verifiable belief. But still, even though all of it is unknown, people are heaven bound. So like this, this is who? This is the people. These are the people the first portion of the Veda encounters, and in her great compassion, Shruti, Mother Shruti, takes one wherever one is ready. Okay, you want desires? Sure, let me show you a way to fulfill them. What? Keep making bricks. How many? 108. But the 95th one cracked. Doesn't matter, start from 1 again. Yeah, just like the snake on the square, 95th square, which takes you back to 1. Keep doing. So one is busy. It is much better to do the Sri Sukta Homa, to want to gain whatever, abundance, wealth, progeny, etc. Especially abundance and wealth, rather than plot to rob a bank. Don't you agree? So therefore, the person is kept dharmic and kept busy. So the first portion of the Veda teaches discipline. Everybody is up before sunrise. Especially if you want to go to heaven, you have to be up before sunrise. Yeah, 3:30 in the morning, before the sun is up. Anudite juhoti. This is what one has to do. One has to keep on doing. And then what comes at the end? Just a lot of tiredness and an eagerness and a preparation to say, is this all that life has to offer? And this is itself, so the first portion of Veda is doing a great service in preparing the mind. It's almost like aversion therapy. There is something called aversion therapy for these repeat offenders. These repeat offenders in prison, let's say they can't help themselves robbing people. They like to go and burgle houses. They are given to these kinds of crimes. So they show some pictures, robbing, they show a picture of some robbers and then or show pictures of nice shiny things to which these people may be attracted. Some people like to rob electronics, some people like to rob other things, jewelry, whatever it is, or money. So they show whatever that object of desire is. Lot of money they show, and after that they show some dirty sludge, sewage pipe, something like that. And so the idea is that the association gives like an aversion therapy. This is called aversion therapy. So the first portion of the Veda gives an aversion therapy. By the time you grow out of it, you don't want to see one more tin of ghee or wood chips or any kind of havan smoke, because you've been there and done that. Not that you can't enjoy it if somebody else does it. You can sit there and bless them and pray for them. But you don't want to do this anymore because you feel like this is not the be-all and end-all of life. And that is where the first portion of the Veda does a great amount of service to enter into what is called Vedanta. And what this Vedanta is beautifully talked about in the first opening mantra, which is also called Mangala Charanam. Acharanam, conduct. Mangala, auspicious conduct. So the first verse is always bringing in a prayer of auspiciousness. In fact, in the tradition it says what? If there ain't no prayer, don't study the text. Yeah. And that's what happened to the book that Duryodhana wrote. Yeah. Did you know that Duryodhana wrote a book? Huh? No? He did write a book. And do you know what the topic was? Very ironic. What was the topic? Dharma. He wrote a book on Dharma. How come I haven't heard of it? Well, it became goat food. Ajabhakshitam. Yeah. Because it was written on manuscripts. And the goats assimilated it very well. Why? Why couldn't why did it, what happened? Why did it have such a bad fate? Because he didn't believe in prayer. He didn't walk the talk. It's easy to talk about Dharma while you're setting fire to your cousin's abodes, and smoking them out and doing all kinds of nefarious activities. And so he did write a book on Dharma, but he didn't believe in prayer, and it was lost to posterity, thank God. See, Bhagavan has a way of evening things out, because it would be very awkward for the tradition to explain had it survived. Think about it. Yes, there is Apastambha Sutra, Dharma Shastra, and the book of Duryodhana on Dharma. I mean, we wouldn't be able to, dismiss it, but we wouldn't be able to bring ourselves to read it. So, like this, in a way, it is good that it never saw the light of day. And a prayer can be overt or covert. This is an example what we just chanted is an example of what? Overt prayer, because Dakshinamurti has come and all these things have come. So this is an example of overt prayer. But there can also be covert prayer, which is very, very important in the tradition, because it shows the finesse, the skill of the poet, the writer. It's just so fantastic. So, do we have some examples of covert prayers? In the Bhagavad Gita. Because the Bhagavad Gita, you don't have a prayer actually. No, what about the Dhyana shlokas? That was composed later on in praise of the Gita. But Lord Vyasa did not compose a prayer at all. And before somebody said objection, there is no prayer, therefore this book should not be read. Suddenly, and Adi Shankara Bhashyakara saw this. What are the first words of the Bhagavad Gita? Even before that. Go a little before that. Go to Uvacha, big hint. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Uvacha said, Dhritarashtra, local meaning of Dhritarashtra, confused blind king, metaphorical, blinded by his ambitions, walked over, crossed over to the wrong side of this Dharma Sankata, of this war on Dharma. And the deeper meaning is Dhritam Rashtram Yena. Fantastic. Yeah. Dhritam, held, Rashtram, this whole Jagat, Yena, by whom? Just a covert but effective prayer. It's so beautiful. Very nice. This is a prayer. And so you can never say, Vyasa did not pray when doing this. And then same thing we see in the Paninian Sutras. Panini, in Sutra we saw it this morning. I don't know how many people attended the thing, but it's not easy to write a sutra. Every cha meaning and, ha, indeed, everything has to be accounted for. There's no extra syllables allowed. But Panini sneaks in a prayer. What is the first sutra, if anybody knows? Vriddhiradaich. Vriddhi means, the local meaning of the term Vriddhi is, may there be, growth. May there be growth. But here, in the Paninian meta language, Vriddhi is actually an operation, the second level of strengthening of vowels. The first level being Guna. So these are technical terms. Guna doesn't mean Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Don't go there. Here this is Panini, it's a meta language. Guna means, where the O becomes O. First level of strengthening. And in fact, the book of grammar has to start with the first level of strengthening. But here it starts with the second level of strengthening. He flips it so that he can pray. Vriddhi Ad Ait. Vriddhi is there for A, E, all the letters between A and this, there is a meta language. So for these letters, let there be an operation called Vriddhi. That is the correct meaning of the sutra. But it acts as a prayer. Vriddhi syat, may this work grow in fame. Because there are many reasons to write a prayer. One is to take away the C that is trapped in a circle. What is the C that is trapped in the circle? Copyright issue. Because it's simply not right. Because everything that we know is we are all copycats. Bhagavan is the original author. And so in dedicating this, there is may there be less of me and more of Bhagavan in this work. There is a sense of less of a doership. May I be inspired, may I be protected, may everything go according to plan. That's the first reason to write a prayer. Second reason is Pratibandha Nivaranartham. Pratibandha means obstacles. The most famous obstacle is called writer's block. What is writer's block? Some days you get up and feel like a blockhead. No words come. And if you are a poet, they don't rhyme. And or they don't have any, they don't have any profundity. You sit at the computer, you sit with a paper, pencil, whatever it is your way of writing maybe, nothing happens. And you just get frustrated. You have one more cup of tea or coffee or the brew of your choice, but nothing happens. This is a block. This is what is called Adhyatmika block. Centered on oneself, correct? An Adhi Bhautika block. What is Adhi Bhautika block? Somebody says, come watch TV, very nice show is going on, just when you sit down to write. And of course, that sounds more tempting. Let's go see a movie. This is what it is, Adhi Bhautika block. Adhi Daivika block, again, sit down to write, but there's always some problems. So may these blocks may not be there, because any work should see the light of completion. That is why the Mangalacharanam, that's the focus or the function of Mangalacharanam is to see the light, let this work survive the light of day. So, because it's not in our hands, these pratibandhas, the obstacles don't call up and ask permission. They are all atithis. What is atithi? Drop-in guests without an appointment. In fact, they are pests. You can't call them guests. There's a fine line between guest and pest. So, they just drop in. The obstacle doesn't take your permission. Hello, I'm a big writer's block. When is it convenient that I come? It doesn't ask your permission. It comes whenever it feels like. And so therefore, and why does it come? Why do these blocks come? These blocks come because of previous karma, correct? Previous adharmic actions bring on these uncomfortable situations where even though I'm inspired to write this book or write these, verses, somehow there is a disconnect. Something is not happening. Usually it is self-sabotage, which is adhyatmika, problem. Or adhidaivika, adhibhautika, all of them conspire to make one feel like one is an idiot and one cannot finish this. This is all the, the prasada of previous karma. Thankfully, that karma can be inoculated against, or we can, we can help that karma. How? By initiating new karma. Initiating new karma. Because what was that? That is adrishta. Because every karma has two kinds of results. Drishta phala, immediate result, and adrishta. Yeah. Adrishta means unseen, to be fructifying at a later date, later. So that adrishta from the previous life is coming here now. So therefore I can unleash another adrishta, and I can spare 2 lines for a prayer and sweep off that adrishta, keep it at bay. So the first reason to, the second reason to have this prayer is to be free of obstacles, so that the work sees the light of completion, sees the light of day, survives. Okay, it survived, 94 verses. Fir kya? The goat, you put some anti-goat spray on the manuscript. Some Karela juice, so that the goat says, yuck, I don't like this. I'm going to spare this book. And then let's say it survived the light of day. It survived all the hungry goats. Then what? It just lay there in a bundle, in a cloth bundle, in Saraswati Mahal Library in Tanjavur for hundreds of years. What is the use? No use. A book on moksha needs moksha now, because it is trapped under it's just lost. So any writer, will have 2 desires. One is, we've already talked about at length, to complete the book, that, otherwise why start it? And the second desire is what? It should be read. That's the least thing. It should be read. If it is written, if I have spent so much time, energy, writing it. It should definitely be read. It should be useful to the people, because obviously I've had, the author is thinking I have something to say. And so it should be useful to the people, and so it should be read. This is what the whole thing is. And so we can see from the Vedanta Dindimah that his prayer was successful. Not only did he live to complete it, because that is Adhidaivika thing, the author could suddenly die. Ram Naam Satya Hai, suddenly. Yeah. This happened to, what was that man's name, that famous musician, Beethoven. Beethoven started to write one symphony and then died in the middle of it. Therefore it is called what? Unfinished symphony. It could happen. So Beethoven must not have taken Dakshinamurti's name. Yeah. So this could happen, unfortunate. So not only should the work be complete, it should be available to people, and it should be of use to transform the people, as transformative as it was for the writer. It should so be also for the readers. That is why Mangalacharanam is done. And there is a final reason as well for a prayer at the beginning. And what is that? May the readers get moksha. What is moksha? Yeah, freedom. Is that something you have? Is it away from you, or is it you?
It is you.
It is you. Yeah, just checking. Yeah. So it is you. It's not away from you, but it feels as though away from you. Why? Because I don't know. I feel separated from this truth of myself, as free, whole, as non-separate from the Lord. And therefore, I feel like I am bound. Bondage is a notion. And so therefore what? This Moksha Shastra, this Vedanta in the form of Dindimah, in the form of verses, why should it be written? It is not written just for the author to show off his Sanskrit. No. It's not written for the author to just sort of say that, I had some spare time to write 94 verses. It is written, Mumukshunam hitaye pratipattaye sukha pratipatti. Sukha pratipatti means ease of understanding for those who desire that which is already themselves moksha. For ease of understanding, so that there are so many works on Vedanta. Why should this one also be there? Because obviously Nrsimha Saraswati did not have any pressure to write this, being himself a person of self-knowledge. So if there was a desire, it was a pressure-free desire, a free desire to help others. Let me see what has not been done in the field of Vedanta. Nrsimha Saraswati Swamiji thought. And what did he come? He came to an interesting conclusion. Lots of big works are there. Lots of, volumes and volumes of things are there. What is not there is Vedanta in a drum beat. Vedanta in a nutshell. This is almost like a sutra, really. Because in the drum beat, Vedanta in the drum beat cannot, like you think about that metaphor we had yesterday of the town crier going from place to place, village to village. Maharaja, Dhiraj, Padhar rahe hain, the king is coming, and then what do you have to do? You have to say it again. Because you're already, because first time people don't hear, so you have to beat the drum, stop talking, beat the drum, and say, the king has an important announcement. And what is the announcement? The announcement is that, you can do this, and you can't do this, whatever it is. You can have so many announcements. And so like this, the announcement is short and pithy because it accompanies the drum beat. And so too this text is called the drum of Vedanta, because it, what should I say, it drums up a lot of enthusiasm in short, pithy words. Because here there is no place for elaboration. The elaboration is the blessing of the teacher who is going to unfold the text. The elaboration is the privilege of the teacher. The text does not elaborate. Imagine if the town crier was going, dum 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 dum. What? There was a boy called Nachiketa, dum 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 dum. And his father's name was Vajashravas, dum 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 dum. And then one day there was a yajna going, dum dum dum. By the time the town crier has already walked off. This is not the way to tell the story. The story is for the Upanishad. Leisurely you can listen to the story. What happened to baby Nachi? How cute. What is he doing? How could he be such a mokshu at such a small age? That is the work of the Upanishad. And in the Vedanta literature, there was a gap. Nowhere was all the main tenets of Vedanta so clearly and easily put, and Nrsimha Saraswati Swamiji saw that and immediately started embarking on this venture. And as this text unfolds, you will appreciate the beauty of this precision. It's easy to keep on going and going and going, But like I have been going now for 45 minutes. But it's much harder to say the same thing in one sentence, in half a sentence. Not easy. And so now, this is why the Mangala Charanam is very important, because that prayer worked for him, because obviously the blessing of that prayer made him complete the work and make it available to us. And so when we pray along with this verse, that same blessing of the prayer, 15th century prayer, comes down to us and blesses us. So we'll be together, with this understanding, reading the verse again, and then I will explain it. Together. Vedanta Dindimah Sattvam Ekam Udghoshayanti Yat Astam Purastat Tat Tejaha Dakshinamurti Samhitam. Vedanta Dindimaha, plural. Drums of Vedanta. Or rather, we should say drum beats of Vedanta. Vedanta Dindimaha, and forget the word Tattvam, we'll skip over right now. We'll come back to it. Udghoshayanti, catch hold of the verb. Uchchaihi ghoshayanti, udghoshayanti, loudly proclaim. Ghosh, to proclaim, 10th conjugation, ghoshayanti, loudly proclaim. What do they proclaim? Tattvam udghoshayanti. They proclaim something called the Tattva. Tattvam is proclaimed. What is this Tattva? What do the drum beats proclaim? Something called Tattvam. Who is this? What is this Tattva? The meaning of the word Tattvam is interesting. Tat means what? That. Tattvam, like Manushyatvam. Manushya means what? Human being. Manushyatvam means? Humanness. So Tattvam means? Thatness. Is that a word? Now it is. So the drum beat of Vedanta, drum beats, plural, of Vedanta proclaim thatness. Ayyo, where to go now? What is this thing called that? That can refer to so many things. That door, that clock, that row of chairs in the back, that exit sign, that screen, that temple, that altar. What is this thatness? Where all the things referred to by the word this or that resolve in what? That is what is talked about. In other words, Tattva means reality. Because the word for the Lord, for Brahman, is always referred to as that, because locally not available. Tat Brahma Tvamasi. Tat Tvamasi. Tat means that. That means, that is a preposition I use to refer to things far away from me, over which I have no idea where it is. And so, where is Brahman? Right here, this is Brahman. The one who is asking where is Brahman, he happens to be Brahman, correct? Just like the one who is asking, I want moksha, happens to be Mukta. So where is Brahman means what? Right here. The one who is asking, that nature alone is Brahman. The nature of the one, the truth of the one who is asking is Brahman. But then what do you mean, where is Brahman? But then that is our orientation, correct? Where is Brahma? Kutra asti. And then sometimes the eyes go up. I don't know why. Because locally not available, maybe somewhere up in the sky. Head goes up, eyes go up. But then what is Brahman is that which is before, which is behind, which is above, which is below, which is this side, that side, everything is Brahman. There is no place where Brahman is not. And so this reality, that which is the truth of everything, referred to by the word that, on account of my own ignorance, here is made into an abstract noun. The truth of that, whatever that is called thatness. Essence of that is thatness, which is different from this, because this means anything that I can objectify, which is right here. And that means something that is as though removed from me because of my own ignorance. That Brahman somewhere, there goes that Brahman. And that Brahman is something that, I have to look into. And again, the Shruti goes along with one's ignorance, because it has to go with it, has to speak to where one is. You can't have the Shruti or anyone unlocking the Shruti, can't have a highfalutin lecture on Vedanta, and you will just lose the audience. Already so few people interested in Vedanta to begin with, compared to a Homa. You have Chandi Homa, thousands of people will come at short notice. But you say Vedanta lecture, not many people will be free immediately. Why? Because what that is not understood. That's why the Shruti has to get down to our level and kind of go along with our vocabulary, our limited vocabulary, and our own, limitations as it were, and say, I'll teach you about that thing you really want to know. That thing about which you are curious. In fact, the thatness of it will come, and it will be as clear to you as this you is. So then that Brahman is this you. This is what the whole Mahavakya is. And then after today, if somebody asks you, what did you talk about? You can say, oh, this and that. And you will be absolutely correct. So thatness means what? Thatness means where all the prepositions go into a bin, from where they cannot go any further. Where the buck stops. This, that, above, below, I, you, all the pronouns, prepositions, everything. They just go somewhere, and beyond that there is no other thing to refer to, no other place to go. That is what is that. That from which everything has come. Yato va imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayansam vishantiti, abhisamvishanti. Yat, yataha, yasmat karanat. Yat is same as tat. It's in fact yat and tat go together. Don't say, but we are talking about tat and now you are saying yat. It's Sanskrit. Yat means that which, but still the word that is there. That causeless cause from which all these beings have emerged. that causeless cause which is by which all this that is here is pervaded and sustained. That causeless cause unto which everything goes when it is time for all that manifest universe to resolve, dissolve. Tad Brahma Tvamasi Shvetaketu. You are that. You are this, no fun. Because I have to be that, because that is removed and a little more enticing and inviting, because it seems so far removed, but actually it is myself alone. And so here, this is a big bang beginning along with a Mangalacharana. The author doesn't waste any time for, what should I say, oh, how are you doing? Would you like a cup of tea? No, this is the coffee. Yeah. This is what it is. This is itself a shot, in the arm, and there are no preliminaries. You can kind of see the signature of the author, because there is nothing more. What else is there to talk about? How long are you going to talk about this and that? When the reality is what is needing to be, unfolded. So here the Vishaya, the topic of the work, is immediately, without any preamble, introduced as Tattvam Udghoshayanti. So the truth of that causeless cause from which this whole manifest Jagat has emerged, by which this manifest universe is sustained, unto which the manifest universe resolves, is going to be put forth as the truth, as the reality, which is the subject matter of the drum beats of Vedanta, a loud proclamation. Tattvam Udghoshayanti. Tattvam therefore means reality. But there are so many things that are real, Everything is real. Yeah, until it is not. That is called one life's journey. Wanting the real, and then what? And then really being disappointed because that which I thought was real, the goalposts are shifting. This is not real. Oh, maybe the next one, that's not real. Oh, maybe after that, that's also not real. Not real, not real, not real. Really? Yes, really. Not real. So what is this thing called real? And therefore, the acharyas of the tradition, starting with Adi Shankara, have made this, discernment of the real very easy for us by giving the tattva a twofold definition. This is very important. First one is what? Tat, tattva, thatness, isness, whatever we want to talk about. All that, means, reality means it should not be negatable. Otherwise, reality means what? If it's always negatable, then how do you know it's real? It will be like the speeches of the politicians. One day they say one thing, and the next day they contradict themselves and say something completely different. And the third day they come back and say the same thing that they said 2 days back. So we can't have that. So that which is real is called Sat. Sat alone is Tat. Chandogya Upanishad tells us that. Sat means that which is ultimately existent without depending on anything else. Everything exists. Flower exists, fruit exists, pot exists, pot belly exists, but it is all dependent on something. We have a leaning existence. Everything depends on everything else. In fact, the Buddhists have a term for it. It's called interbeing. Very beautiful term. Each thing depends on something else. So if you take one thing out, everything else is affected in that ecosystem. But then you can't have this anavastha dosha, or this endless dependence, because this depends on that, that depends on that, that depends. But then there must be something on which everything depends, but that thing is free of dependence. That is Tat, which is Sat. Tat Sat, Sa Atma, Tvamasi Shvetaketu. That Sat. And what is that Sat? Sadeva Somya Idamagre Asit. Before this whole manifest Jagat came into being, there was one thing. And what was that thing? Let us call it Sat. That self-existent being, entity, conscious entity, self-existent, all aware of itself, aware of everything else. The only thing that was there, from which all this has come. Asit, Sat was. Oh, then Sat died off? No. Asti eva, still is, in the form of words which have meanings. Word and meaning, word and meaning, word and meaning. Everything. Series of words and meanings. Pot, thought, hat, cat, mat, rat. Word and meaning, word and meaning, word and meaning. Just name and form, word and meaning. That's all it is. Same Sat abides in everything. And all the things draw their being from this Sat. Without Sat, if you take away Sat, everything collapses. If you take away the word and meaning, Sat still is. This Sat is abadhitam, non-negatable. How are you going to negate Sat? Let's try. Let's just for fun. The truth of this world is Sat-less, Tat-less. Who is saying? Me the Great. Who are you? Well, I am a conscious being. Okay. So the truth of this world is no Sat? Yes, no Sat. No Tat, no Sat, no Tattva, nothing. Truth of this world is nothing. And then what? You have negated Sat. Are you happy? Well, I have a funny feeling. Why? Because you cannot negate the negator. Who is the negator? You. You can't negate yourself. You try. Are you here? Even if you didn't answer, I know you're here. Yeah, because you were wondering, is this a trick question? And some people wondered, other people have already answered, why should I bother? Are you here? Yes? Suppose you say, no, I'm not here. You're still advertising your presence? Correct? It's like a child hiding behind the door and saying, don't look behind the door. I'm not there. That means you're there. You cannot negate the negator. That is why Sat is non-negatable. And then that is why Sat is you, that Tattva is you. Because you are the only thing in the universe that is non-negatable. And so Vedanta here, the Vishaya, is right here. It's about you, that Tattva that you're in search of. That Vedanta is proclaiming loudly, is that drumbeat, is that Spurana. Aham, 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 aham. That's the percussion of Vedanta. I am, I am, I am, I am. When are you? I am now, 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 now. Now are you here? Yes. How about now? How about now? How about in between those two nows? Were you here or not? Yes. That is the drum beat here. It's straight away Mahavakya. It is so, full of, it's just so beautiful, so amazing. That Tattva, which I have been looking for life after life after life, is right here. In the form of that aham 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 iti sakshat sakshi rupena bhasate, that which is ever present as the witness of everything. And sometimes people get confused with witness. Like, what if there is nothing to witness? Even if there is nothing to witness, you are there or not? Hello? Yes? Show some signs of life, okay? Yeah. So, this is what it is. You are there. And if you are there, then only Vedanta Shastra is there. To delineate, to explain, to make one understand what this you is really about. So really, the town crier now is gone, correct? And the drum is gone, and the beat is gone. It's all just an inside job. The town crier is Atma Tattva, saying Aham, 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 Om, Om, Om. In every Om, are you present? Yes? In the next Om, are you present? In Om number 1 and Om number 2, are you present? What about the space between Om number 1 and Om number 2? Yes? U plus Om, infinite. U minus Om, infinite. U plus chant, infinite. U minus chant, infinite. Silent U, infinite. U plus all kinds of thoughts, unnecessary thoughts, useless thoughts, boring thoughts, silly thoughts, mischievous thoughts, everything. It's still infinite. And that you, upon which this whole Jagat is balanced so perfectly, is self-standing, self-evident, because you don't have to ask the neighbor when I say, are you here? Are you here? Yes. Immediately. How do you know? If I say, shall I come to your house? Then you say, oh, let me ask the significant other and we'll find a time. Please come, please visit. But let's find a proper time. But if I ask the question, are you here? You don't say, I never do anything without consulting my spouse. So I'll have to get back to you on that. Nobody says that. Nobody can say that. Nobody will say that. And so therefore what? Therefore, who is this Tattva? You. And this Tattva means it is self-standing. Whether you like it or not, it advertises itself, because it is not just Tat, Sat. It is that Sat is non-separate from Chit, that advertising itself, meaning it's all knowledge. No. How can it be all knowledge? I don't know so many languages. I don't know so many things. My ignorance is as vast as the ocean. Don't, up till now I was with you. I know I am. But don't tell me I'm all knowledge. This is very easily resolved, okay? Do you know all the things you know? Look, you have to cooperate, okay? Yeah. Otherwise, I can also wait for the answer, no problem. I'm not in a rush. Yeah. I also sit quietly and wait. So do you know the things you know? Yes. Yeah. This is how Vedanta has to be listened in an animated way. Don't be frightened. Yeah. Participate. Have fun. Because I am. Yeah, have fun with me. No problem. You know the things you know, yes or no? Yes. Do you know that there are many things you don't know? Yes. Are you aware of your knowledge? Yes. Are you aware of your ignorance? Yes. So can you agree that all the things you know plus all the things you don't know constitute all? Yes. So that means you are all knowing. Sarvagya. Unassailable argument. Absolute fun. So this is what it is. This is what the thing is. This Tattva doesn't shut up. It advertises itself as all-knowing I. Because when you say I am, what you're really saying is I know I am. Are you here? Yes. How do you know? Well, come on. I know I am. And this I know never becomes I don't know, even if you try. Because if you say, I don't know trigonometry, that means what? I know I don't know trigonometry. That I know never turns into I don't know. This is all Chit, Sat Chit. Then only one more word is left. What is that? Ananda. Here again there is a big rub. People think this Ananda is some special, I don't know, something dropping from somewhere. It's a drop-in Ananda. I tell you, it's just this. Are you here now? Yes. And what is this now? Are you sad now? Abba, thank God. No. How about now? How about now? 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 Even if you were to say yes. Now? Yes, I'm sad. Well, I would say, that was then. This is now. Because the moment is gone. And what is the length of now? timeless, lengthless, immeasurable. Now is you, now is Ananda. Even if you are shedding tears, the now, the Ananda is holding up the tears. You can enjoy the cry, have a good cry, no problem, as long as you understand the Ananda is holding up the tears, no problem. This is Ananda, it's not some special experience, it cannot be a special experience. A special experience is ice cream, you go and have it and come back, some exotic flavor. And then what? Experience, special experience means there was a time it was not, there was a time it began, and there was a time it ended. This is not Ananda. Ananda is there all the time. Because that's what you want to be, that's what you happen to be. And so this tattva is what Vedanta is beating all the time. So that how is it beating? As I am now, I am, I know, and I am limitless. That is the drum beat. When you know, if you're a percussionist, you can sort of make out the drum beats. And in Hindustani music, we have the beats of the drum. Even in South Indian music, we have the certain beats. Dha, din, din, na, din, din, na. We have the 16 beat, very common. And so, what is this dha, din, din, na, satchid, ananda, satchid, ananda, right here, right now, you are free. This is the drum beat of Vedanta, loudly being proclaimed. That is what it is. So, tattvam udghoshayanti yat. Yat tattvam, that tattva, that reality, which it is communicating. What is that? Astam. May that tattva be with us. Astam, imperative mode, lot, imperative mode, and third person, singular. Astam, from as, upaveshane, sit. So may this tattva be with us. May this knowledge of this tattva, this drum beat, be with us. Yat udghoshayanti, that which the proclaimed by the drum beats of Vedanta, this knowledge of this tattva, this essence of who I am, may it astam, may it be with us. Where? Purastat, right in us, as us, in front of us. Let me not, O Lord, lose sight of it. But then you just said it's not an object, it's the subject. How can it be in front of me or in me or as me? How am I going to discern it? Because now I'm praying. I have to relate. You can't pray to Satchidananda. Formless, nameless, all-pervasive. That which obtains as the meaning of the word I. This is not, this is jnapakam, not dhyayam. This is not dhyaya vastu. This is not something to be meditated upon. This is something to know. So what to do? So therefore I convert this tattva, the truth of myself. What do? I convert it into tejaha, the light of knowledge. I convert it into the light of knowledge of the Shastra. Astam purastat, what? Yat udghoshayanti tattvam, tat tejaha astam purastat. That which the Vedanta teaches in a nutshell, that essence, that truth of this I, may it be converted to the light of knowledge in the form of Lord Dakshinamurti. Fantastic. Because now that formless truth of that I, we are purposely bringing into a form, because this is a Mangalacharana, a prayer. A prayer is always based on a duality between the devotee and the object of devotion. And so here, that same tejaha, that same light of consciousness, we are making it into, we are invoking into the Adi Guru, the The teacher of teacher of teacher of teachers of teachers, the first teacher. But how do you know that there was first teacher? Who was the first teacher? We have to say Bhagavan. Who else will be the first teacher? How do you know that there was a first teacher? Pujya Swamiji would have a very foolproof reasoning for this. What was that? How do you know that you had a great 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 grandmother? Did you have a great 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 grandmother? Everybody says yes. Yeah. How do you know? Because I am here. That's the answer. Because I am here, I can say that the great 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 grandmother must have been here for sure. No problem. Same thing here. Because you are here, you know that the first teacher must have been here. Because you are here, you are part of an unbroken lineage. From teacher to student, then student becomes teacher, and then that teacher teaches more students, and those students then teach more, others become teachers and teach students. Unbroken line. And so that teja, that force, that power of communication in an unbroken lineage, exemplified at one end by Lord Dakshinamurti. And this Dakshinamurti is not an ordinary form of Bhagavan. It's the delight of every jignasu to pray to the Lord Dakshinamurti. Because it's an all-encompassing form. What all is not there? I mean, everything is there. 5 elements are there. The murti is made of stone. Prithvi Tattva. 5 elements, and then what else? Carrying fire in the upper left hand. Water in the form of Gangaji on the head, and then air in the form of bandana. Yeah, actually it's a Sanskrit word, bandhana. Yeah, in American tongue it has become bandana. Yes. So this bandhana, unlike our what's the other one's name? The one that stands like this. Unlike Nataraja, whose hair is all over the place to show the twirling and the whole abandon of the dance. Here, his dreadlocks are all tied up to protect from the wind. And that tying up is a salute to Vayu, the wind element. So we have, and then what? Akasha, space in the upper right hand, Damaru, And then 5 elements are there, and the 2 celestials that we encounter, sun and moon, are there. And that is 7. And yet he is called Ashtamurti. What is missing? You. You are missing. 8th thing is you. You make the Lord complete, because without that Tattva, there is no Lord. And that Tattva is represented by you, and which is the same as the Lord. Without the worshipper, there is no object of devotion. There is no Lord. You complete the Lord. And then the Lord speaks in sign language, Vedantic sign language, VSL. What is that? What does that look like? Show me. Huh? Yeah. Tattvamasi. This is the pointing finger, accusing everybody of being a problem for my life. Ahankara, body, mind, senses, which is always with the ahankara. This is Tat, which we have been talking about, unassisted, not depending on anything, coming from a different source. And in fact, it is giving the hand a shape and functionality. Without the thumb, you can't pick up anything from the floor. Try it. And so this unsung hero, the thumb, is Sat, non-negatable. And the second definition we have to see, unchanging. Abadhitam Sat, Trikalepi Tishtati iti Sat. So this unchanging Sat in the form of this thumb tells first this ahankara to bend. Do a little namaskar, nothing will happen. Bend. Because if you don't bend, you break, really. And you see the trees after a storm, the ones that have broken don't know how to bend. So it is taught first how to bend, and then kind of leave the association with the body, mind, sense complex and, unite itself with that Tattvamasi. This is what he taught in the sign language. And so this Lord Dakshinamurti, who is the truth of, and then there are Sanaka, Sanat Kumara, Sanandana, Sanat Sujata, 4 sages. Elderly people, very, very elderly people sitting there at the feet of a young Lord who is perpetually 16. 16 means a number of completion. Chitram Vatataror Mule Vriddha Shishya Gurur Yuva. Look at this picture under the tree. Elderly students and young teacher, young guru. This is a very nice picture under the tree. And then, now I was thinking about it some time back and I thought, well, if they were so elderly, maybe they were hard of hearing and he had to do this. Because how much he will shout? Tattvamasi! Huh? What, Guru? Because they were all elderly. It's just for fun. Okay? And Bhagavan knew this is the way to communicate. To go past the body, mind, sense complex and just they could see, so they saw this and immediately the knowledge took place. But really they were very, very prepared, so delighted to learn that they immediately got it. Elderly doesn't mean literally old souls, so to speak. Many, many janmas later, they have come to Vedanta to sit at the feet of the Lord. And they have given a present to the Lord. What is that? Apasmara, a small demon sitting at the feet. Their unconscious mind, which is a storehouse of anger and lack and so many, useless desires, is dedicated to the foot of the Lord. And the Lord simply has accepted that and says, heal, pun intended, Heal, Heel. And so this is Dakshinamurti. So that light of consciousness which I discovered as that drum beat which is in the form of that Sakshi, which is I, which never shuts up, which is of the nature of Satchidananda. Now I refashion into a form that I can worship for the sake of this interaction, for the sake of expressing my devotion and my hope, desire and prayer that may this Vedanta Dindimah bless us, bless me, just like it blessed Nrisimha Saraswati and all the other sages after him who have read it, imbibed it, taught it. May I also have that same thing. So Tat Tejaha, which was what? Which was belonging to that Tattva that is now, invoked in the form of Lord Dakshinamurti, who I, invoke to be the teacher of this text, so that we know that this is not about the personality of any one person or anyone. This goes back right to, to the Lord, where all the teaching has come from. Let's just make sure that no word is left out. Yeah, Dakshinamurti Sangitam. Sangitam means denoted by, denoted as. Dakshinamurti Sangitam, known as Lord Dakshinamurti. So, there is only, and then word Ekaha. Ekam Udghoshayanti. So, how many tattvas are there? How do we know only one? Just because it says that, we believe it? How do you know it's only one? There are so many people in the room, each one tattva, sat, sat, ayam. How do you know there's only one? Huh? One source. Yeah, one source. How do we know? Because it is in keeping with one's aspiration. The aspiration is towards oneness. Nobody wants two-ness. Nobody wants duality. Even though one is apparently mired in it all the time, nobody wants it. It's not attractive. What is attractive is oneness. You look at any kind of research project by NIH and all those other entities. So they look at, all the scientists want to look at the overt differences to find out some underlying reality. That's what they want. They want the underlying oneness. Well, what do you want? You want to be one with everything, starting with gulab jamun. I want to be one with it. I want to be united with it. How long? Forever. You'll have to eat more than 7 gulab jamuns for that. So, forever. And that forever is Ananta, Ananda. And that's how we know it is only one, because that is in keeping with my aspiration, my hankering for this oneness alone. This is what is. What a beautiful opening verse. So many things. Vishpato Mukha, so many things it is fulfilling in one stroke. So we'll chant the next verse and look at it tomorrow. Atmanatma padartha udvau Bhoktra bhogyatva lakshanau Brahmaivatmana dehadihi Together. Iti Vedanta Dindimah. Together. Chant the last portion with me. Iti Vedanta Dindimah. That's what we'll do now. We'll chant, since you already know that. The last one we can chant it, by ourselves. Very nice. So, just by way of introduction, from verses 2 to 10, a very ingenious pedagogy, a methodology is crafted here by Nrisimha Saraswati Swamiji, and what he is doing is he is picking up common dyads, Sukha, Dukkha, Atma, Anatma, Jnana, Ajnana, all these things, and then talking about talking about this duality and how Vedanta, this Dindimah, resolves it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hang in there. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. We have few minutes for some questions if there are any. Yes.
You said I know, but when you die, what you don't know anything?
Well, you don't know that. We don't know that when we die we don't know anything, because we do know, because Satchidananda continues. The I is not embodied in a particular mind, body, sense complex. But the knowingness of it, the tattva, is still there. Yeah?
That is not known whether you survive.
That is not known, yes, it is an unverifiable belief, correct? But the fun thing with beliefs is that whether you believe or not, it is still a belief. If you say, I don't believe in rebirth, it's still a belief, correct? And if you say, I believe in rebirth, it is still a belief. So you are free to believe whatever you want, because either way it's not verifiable. It's not that belief in rebirth is a belief and the belief in no rebirth is a fact. Both are beliefs. Both are subject to verification, which we don't have at this point. See, don't worry about what happens after death, because right now we have a gift of life. So we'll just sort of, do that, because we don't know. Like you said, we honestly don't know. So best to stay in the present, enjoy every minute. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
So you asked him, if I know what I know.
Yes.
If I know what I don't know.
Correct.
And the answer to both were yes. I believe the answer to if I know what I don't know is no. Because it's like asking if somebody has not come to the class, please stand up. So I don't know what I don't know.
I didn't understand that. Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that?
So the question
If you know, so you're saying, if I say I know what I don't know, It's not correct? Is that what you said?
That is exactly what I said.
Okay. But it is correct because you see, there are so many things you know that are there, but you don't know those things, correct?
I don't even know that, what I don't know.
Yeah, but there's something that knows, that is exclaiming, the expression, that's expressing that I don't know. What is it that you know that is enabling you to say, I don't know what you said, what you think I know, I don't really know. How do you know that? That is what we are talking about. This is now on the level of ontology. This is an ontological question. What's the meaning of ontology? That which gives an instant headache.
Yeah, I think it's almost similar to the cone.
Yeah.
That if a tree falls in a forest and nobody's around, is there a sound?
Yeah,
Right?
of course. It's like that. But really speaking, it's better than that because, there's a lot of uncertainty. Here, I know that I don't know. And even if I say I don't know that I don't know, am I expressing knowledge or ignorance? It's a very interesting question. Think about it. Don't spend a sleepless night, but think about it. Yeah.
Many examples, people have done research and they found that people remember their past lives.
Yeah. People remember sometimes.
That means that you wouldn't survive.
Well, you can say that. Yes.
They always say be present in the present. But then if you could be present, you forget your past.
Well, the thing is, an injunction, a vidhi, to be in the present.
The seven Buddha example, does that imply that the Vedanta is only meant for people who are in phase 7 of life?
Yeah, in a way, no, not, either you should have had the 6 vadas or you could have had 4 or 5 slices of pizza, that's also okay. Something equivalent. Yeah, something equivalent, either in this life or other lives. Because you see, Ramana Maharshi, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, his mother sent him go buy some eatables from some place because some guests were coming. So in those days you could get something with 8 annas, 50 paise coin he had. It was called 8 annas in those times. And he just was in a trance. He was actually woken up from meditation. And the mother said, guests are coming, go bring this. Go to the shop and bring this. And he just went and he kept on walking. And he just disappeared. And everybody got so worried. And then 3 days later, his elder brother looked for him, found him meditating on the outskirts of the town, the 50 paise still clutched in his hand. You see? So that means what? Already the preparation, the vadas had been eaten in a previous life. The sambar had been drank, the vadas had been eaten in a previous life, and the maturity of that was expressing itself now. So it doesn't matter whether it's all done in this life or maybe one has few vadas in this life and the other 3 are left over for the next life. No problem, no rush. Yeah, relax. Have fun, enjoy the journey. Doesn't matter, don't try to OD on the vadas, So, that's the idea. Yeah.
Can you expand on apasmara?
Apasmara, the one who haunts by wrong memories. I'm an idiot. Yeah. I'm no good. Why did I do this? Kimaham sadhu na karabam, kimaham papam akarabam iti. Why did I do the wrong thing? Why didn't I do the right thing? This is apasmara. Offensive, defensive, useless fellow, called the unconscious mind. Ninja, Pujya Swamiji used to call him. Or kya? Any more questions on past life? ठीक है. See you all tomorrow. Om Tat Sat. One bhajan. She's going to sing one bhajan. Come. One for the road. Come. From tomorrow, you see, don't wait for me. Because you are here, I may come a few minutes late or I may be in a meeting. You just sit and sing, okay? Then you can say I had a sad sang. Now I can have this cough drop?
Yes.
Okay.